The transfer happened quickly, too quickly for Taeyang to plan anything. Guards brought him to a private room where Da-un waited with two others. An older male alien who looked like her, and a strange creature with 6 arms and silver skin. The older male looked unhappy. Very unhappy. He spoke to Da-un in their language. His tone was sharp. Da-un answered calmly but firmly. They were arguing about something, probably about buying a human. "My lady," the older male finally said in words Taeyang could understand. "This is madness. You paid enough to buy a small fleet. For what, a savage from an unknown world?" "For a person," Jiwoo, Da-un said. "A person who is being tortured for entertainment. I will not apologize for that." Taeyang studied them carefully. Jiwoo was clearly her bodyguard or advisor. Maybe both. The 6-armed creature was examining him with professional interest. "A doctor, perhaps. Or a scientist. Release his chains," Da-un ordered. "My lady, I must protest," Jiwoo said. "He is dangerous. He killed 3 guards before capture." "They were trying to kidnap him," Da-un replied. "I would expect anyone to fight back." "Release his chains." Jiwoo hesitated, then nodded to the guards. They approached carefully. One of them touched a device to the chains. They fell away. Taeyang rubbed his wrists. The skin was raw and burned. He looked at Da-un. She looked back, waiting, testing. She wanted to see what he would do. Run, attack? Beg Taeyang did none of those things. He stood straight, military posture, and spoke clearly in the galactic language that his translator implant had been picking up. "I am Lieutenant Taeyang of the Earth Colonial Fleet, service number 2847 Alpha 9. You will return me to human space immediately." The room went silent. Jiwoo's eyes widened. The 6-armed doctor made a surprised sound. Even the guards looked shocked. "You can speak," Da-un said quietly. "You understand us?" "Yes," Taeyang said. "And I am not a pet. I am not property. I am a soldier. My people will come looking for me. When they find out what happened here, there will be consequences." Da-un smiled. It was not a mocking smile. It looked genuine. "Good, that is very good. Come with me, Lieutenant. We need to talk." They took him to a ship. Not a cargo vessel or a prison ship. This was a luxury transport. Everything was clean and expensive. The walls glowed with soft light. The air smelled pleasant. It was as different from Brack's holding pens as fire from ice. Da-un led him to a medical bay. The 6-armed doctor followed. Her name was Heejin. She spoke in a gentle voice, explaining that she needed to examine him. To treat his injuries, Taeyang backed away. "No, Lieutenant, you are hurt," Heejin said. "I can help." I said no. He spotted a guard's weapon on a nearby table. Before anyone could react, he grabbed it. The weapon felt strange in his hand, but he figured out the trigger quickly enough. He pointed it at them, backing into a corner. Guards rushed in. 10 of them. All armed. All aiming at Taeyang. "Lower your weapons," Da-un said calmly. "My lady, he is armed," Jiwoo said. "I know. Lower your weapons anyway." Da-un stepped forward, right into Taeyang's line of fire. She looked at him without fear. "You want to know why I bought you?" "To own me," Taeyang said. "Like everyone else, to save you," Da-un corrected. "Do you know what the others planned?" "The one in armor wanted you for his gladiator pits. You would fight other slaves until you died. The metal creature works for a research facility. They would dissect you, alive, study your biology piece by piece." She pulled out a small device. Images appeared in the air. Horrible images. Creatures fighting in arenas, bodies torn apart, other creatures strapped to tables screaming. "That was your future," Da-un said. "I bought you to prevent that. Yes, I was curious about your species. Yes, I wanted to study you, but as a guest, as a person, not as property." Taeyang kept the weapon steady, but something in her eyes made him pause. She believed what she was saying. He could tell. "Why should I trust you?" he asked. "You should not," Da-un said honestly. "Not yet. But I am offering you a choice. Work with me. Help me understand your people. In return, I will help you get home. I will use my family's resources to locate human space, to contact your fleet, to end this slave trade before more of your people are taken. And if I refuse, then I will still help you get home. You have my word, but it will take longer, and more of your people may suffer while we wait." Taeyang studied her face, looking for lies, for tricks. He found none. She meant it. Slowly, he lowered the weapon. I want quarters with a lock that I control. I want access to your communication systems, and I want your promise that you will not use any kind of mind control on me. Da-Yun nodded. Agreed. Though I should mention I cannot read your mind anyway. Human neural patterns are different from anything I have encountered. My telepathy does not work on you. That was interesting. And useful. Taeyang filed that information away. Then we have a deal. For now. For now, Da-Un agreed. She held out her hand. It was a human gesture. She had done her research. Taeyang hesitated, then shook it. Her hand was warm. Her skin had a strange texture like silk over stone. Over the next few days, Taeyang settled into an uneasy routine. His quarters were comfortable. Luxurious, even. He had his own bathroom, a bed that adjusted to his body, and a view of space through a large window. The lock worked. He tested it thoroughly. He-Jin treated his injuries. He allowed it this time. She was professional and gentle. She seemed fascinated by his biology. His bones were denser than she expected. His muscles healed faster. His pain tolerance was remarkable. Your world must be very harsh, He-Jin said while scanning his ribs. These adaptations suggest constant danger. Earth is a death world, Taeyang said. Higher gravity than most planets. Dangerous predators. Extreme weather. Diseases. We evolved to survive or die. Fascinating, He-Jin murmured. And terrifying. Da-Un visited often. She asked questions about Earth, about human culture, about their technology and society. Taeyang answered carefully. He gave her information that was not classified, facts that any diplomat would know. In return, she taught him about galactic civilization, about the hundreds of species in the Trade Consortium, about the laws that supposedly protected everyone but clearly failed, about her own people, the Velrians, who were telepathic and long-lived. Why do you care? Taeyang asked one day. They were in an observation room watching stars drift past. About slaves. About justice. You are rich, powerful. You could ignore all of this. Da-Un was quiet for a moment, because I have seen too much suffering. My family is wealthy because we follow the rules. We trade legally. We treat our workers fairly. But we are the exception. Most of the galaxy runs on exploitation. I want to change that. One person cannot change the galaxy, Taeyang said. No, Da-Yun agreed. But one person can start. One act of mercy. One refusal to accept evil as normal. That is how change begins. Taeyang looked at her. Really looked. She was young, idealistic, but there was steel underneath. She meant every word. You are either very brave or very foolish, he said. Da-Un smiled. Maybe both. That night, Taeyang managed to access the ship's communication system. He had been working on it since he arrived. Learning the technology, finding the security holes. Now he had a window, small, brief, but enough. He sent a coded message toward human space. Just coordinates. His service number. A distress code. It would take weeks to reach anyone. Maybe months. But it would reach them. The colonial fleet took care of its own. As he closed the connection, Taeyang felt something unexpected. Guilt. Da-Un had kept her word. She treated him well. Gave him freedom. Worked to help him. And he was calling in a military response that might put her in danger. But he had no choice. He was a soldier, and soldiers always found a way home. 3 weeks passed aboard the ship called Luminous Pearl. Taeyang learned more about the galaxy than any human had ever known. He accessed the ship's database, studying star maps, alien cultures, and the complex politics of the Trade Consortium. He also learned about Da-Un. She came from an old family, very old. The Velrians lived for hundreds of years. To them, she was still young, barely an adult. Her family expected her to marry into another noble house, to manage their business interests, to stay quiet and proper. Instead, she traveled the galaxy, collected rare animals for her sanctuary, spoke out against injustice, and now she had bought a human, which apparently was causing a scandal back home. Your family is angry, Taeyang said one morning. They were in the ship's training room. Da-Yun had asked to learn about human combat techniques. He was teaching her basic self-defense. They are always angry, Da-Un said, attempting a punch. Her form was terrible. I am used to it. No, like this. He moved behind her, adjusting her stance. Turn your hip. Put your weight into it. Telepathy will not help in a real fight. Da-Yun tried again. Better. How did humans survive without telepathy? You cannot sense danger before it comes. You cannot read intentions. We learned to read body language, micro-expressions, tone of voice. We developed technology to extend our senses, and we learned to trust our instincts. He stepped back. Now try to hit me, she tried. He dodged easily. She tried again, using her telepathy to predict his movements. It worked for a moment. Then he changed direction mid-dodge and she missed completely. How? She asked, frustrated. I could see what you were going to do. You saw what I thought I was going to do, Taeyang explained. Humans can change our minds instantly. We can fake, deceive, adapt. It is how we hunted, how we survived. We are very good at being unpredictable. Taeyun thought about that. No wonder everyone calls you savage. You are chaos given form. Thank you, Taeyang said with a small smile. It was the first time he had smiled since the capture. She smiled back. Then she swept his legs. He went down hard. She had gotten better. You are learning, he said from the floor. I have a good teacher. She offered him a hand. He took it. That evening, Daun invited him to share a meal. Not the nutritional paste the ship usually provided. Real food. She had researched human cuisine and tried to replicate some dishes. The results were mixed. The rice was perfect. The vegetables were strange but edible. The meat was definitely not from Earth, but it tasted good enough. Tell me about Earth, Daun said. Not the facts. Not the statistics. Tell me what it feels like. Taeyang put down his fork. He had not thought about home in those terms. It feels like weight. Real gravity that pulls at your bones. It feels like wind that carries 1,000 smells. Salt from the ocean. Pine from the forests. Rain on concrete in the cities. He paused, remembering. It feels like seasons changing. Spring when everything grows. Summer heat that makes you sweat. Fall when leaves turn colors that your people probably do not have words for. Winter when water freezes and falls from the sky. Taeyun listened with fascination. Snow, she said. I read about snow. Frozen water crystals. Each one unique. Yes. And when you are a child, you play in it. Make shapes. Throw it at your friends. It is cold and wet and wonderful. He smiled at the memory. When you visit Earth, I will show you snow. And kimchi. And bulgogi. Real Korean food, not this approximation. When I visit, Daun repeated softly. You think humans will allow me? After what my people did to you? You did not do this to me. Brack did, the consortium did. You saved me. Taeyang met her eyes. My people will understand that. We judge individuals by their actions, not their species. Their moment was interrupted by an alarm. Jiwoo burst into the room. My lady, we are receiving a distress signal. Close range. They rushed to the bridge. The main screen showed a small ship. It was damaged and drifting. The signal was weak but clear. Someone needed help. It could be a trap, Jiwoo warned. Scan the ship, Daeun ordered. The scan showed one life form. Small, weak, no weapons detected. Bring them aboard, Daeun said. The rescue was quick. The person inside was a human. Female, young, maybe 20 years old. She was unconscious and badly hurt. Taeyang felt his heart stop. Another human out here. That meant others had been taken. He helped carry her to the medical bay. Heejin went to work immediately. The girl had been beaten, starved. She had scars from shock restraints. Just like Taeyang's, she will live, Heejin said after an hour. But she needs rest. And time to heal. Taeyang sat by her bed, waiting. When she finally woke, her eyes were full of fear. She saw him and the fear changed to hope. Korean? She asked in their language. Yes, Taeyang said. You are safe now. What is your name? Subin, she said. I am a smuggler. I work the border zones, trading information, making deals. I thought I was careful, but they caught me anyway. Who caught you? Brack's people. They have been hunting humans for months. There is a network, traffickers who specialize in our people. They know about the isolated colonies, the ones far from Earth. They raid them, take people, sell them. Rage filled Taeyang's chest. How many? How many have they taken? I do not know exactly. Dozens, maybe more. I have data. In my ship's computer. Before they captured me, I was gathering evidence. I was going to sell it to the highest bidder. She laughed bitterly. I guess I am still a smuggler, even as a slave. Daeun had been listening from the doorway. She stepped forward. That data. Can we access it? Subin looked at her warily. Who are you? She saved me, Taeyang said. She can be trusted. Subin studied Daeun. Then nodded. The encryption key is in my neural implant. If you can extract it without frying my brain, the data is yours. He-Jin worked carefully. It took hours. But finally, they had the data. And it was worse than anyone imagined. The trafficking network was massive. Hundreds of aliens involved. They had taken at least 40 humans. Most were sold to private collectors. Some went to research facilities. 3 were sent to gladiator pits, and there was a list. A list of buyers, a list of locations, and coordinates for the main facility where they kept humans before sale. We need to act, Taeyang said. Those people are still alive. Some of them. We can save them. It is too dangerous, Jiwoo said. These are criminals. They will kill us. Then we die trying, Daeun said quietly. I said I wanted to change things. I said I cared about justice. Now I have a chance to prove it. We are going to rescue those humans. She looked at Taeyang. If you will help me. Taeyang did not hesitate. I will help. This is what I was trained for. Rescue operations. Search and destroy. Give me a team and I will bring our people home. Over the next days they planned. Subin provided intelligence. She knew the facility's layout, the guard rotations, the security systems. She had been gathering this information for months. Taeyang trained Daeun's security team. Most of them were experienced fighters, but they fought like soldiers who expected rules. Taeyang taught them to fight like humans. Dirty, practical, whatever works. Your people fight with honor, one of the guards said after a particularly brutal training session. Honor does not win fights, Taeyang said. Survival wins fights. When you are outnumbered and outgunned, you use every advantage, speed, surprise, fear. You make the enemy think you are more dangerous than you are. You make them hesitate. And in that moment of hesitation, you strike. The guard nodded slowly. I understand. You are teaching us to be savage. I am teaching you to win, Taeyang corrected. Finally, they were ready. The luminous pearl changed course, heading toward the coordinates Subin had provided, toward a facility hidden in an asteroid field, toward a fight that would change everything. The night before the raid, Taeyang and Daeun stood together on the observation deck, looking at the stars. Neither spoke for a long time. They both knew that tomorrow some of them might die, but they also knew it was the right thing to do. And sometimes that had to be enough. The alarm screamed through the small ship. Red lights flashed across every surface. Taeyang gripped the controls, his knuckles white as he tried to steady the damaged vessel. Smoke filled the cabin. The navigation system was dead. His scout ship spun through space like a broken toy. He had been on a routine mission. Just mapping this sector of space. Nothing dangerous. Nothing exciting. But then the asteroid hit his ship from nowhere. The shields failed. The engine caught fire. Now he was drifting toward a massive space station that looked like it was built from scrap metal and bad dreams. Taeyang was 28 years old. He had trained for this. The Earth colonial fleet taught him to survive, but they never taught him what to do when alien pirates boarded your ship while you were trying not to crash. The airlock exploded inward. 3 creatures rushed in. They were not human. One had 4 arms. Another had scales like a lizard. The third was just wrong. Too many eyes. Too many teeth. Taeyang grabbed a metal pipe from the damaged wall. He swung hard. The first creature went down. The second one jumped at him. He rolled to the side and kicked its legs. It crashed into the control panel. The third creature pulled out a weapon. It looked like a gun but glowed blue. The blast hit him in the chest. Every muscle in his body locked up. Pain exploded through his nerves. He fell to the floor. His vision blurred, but he did not pass out. Not yet. More aliens poured into the ship. A massive creature stepped through the smoke. It had 4 arms and gray skin like stone. Its eyes were small and cruel. This one was clearly the leader. A human, the creature said in a deep voice. It spoke a language Taeyang did not know, but somehow the words made sense. A translator, maybe. I thought they were just stories. But look at this. A real human. The creature kicked Taeyang in the ribs. He took down 3 of my crew. After being stunned once, interesting, it leaned closer. You are going to make me very rich, human. They hit him with the stun weapon again. This time, darkness took him. When Taeyang woke up, he was in a cage. His head pounded. His body ached everywhere. The cage was small, barely big enough to sit up. Around him, other cages held other creatures. Some looked almost normal. Others were nightmares. The place smelled terrible, like sweat and fear and things dying. Guards walked past. They were different species. All of them carried weapons. None of them looked friendly. Tae Yang tested the cage bars. Solid. He looked for weak points. Nothing. He checked his pockets. Empty. They had taken everything. Even his emergency beacon. A small creature in the next cage made a sound. It looked like a cross between a bird and a monkey. Its eyes were huge and sad. "Where are we?" Tae Yang asked. The creature made another sound. Then it pointed at a sign on the wall. Tae Yang could not read the alien writing, but he understood the pictures. They showed creatures being sold. Like products, like slaves. His blood ran cold. Slavery was supposed to be extinct. Humanity had ended it centuries ago. But out here in this dark corner of space it still existed. Hours passed. Maybe days. It was hard to tell. Guards brought food. It looked like green paste and smelled worse. Tae Yang ate it anyway. He needed strength. He studied the guards, counted their patrols, memorized their routines, looking for any chance to escape. Then the big alien came back. The four-armed one who had captured him. 2 guards opened Tae Yang's cage and dragged him out. He tried to fight, but they stunned him again. Just a short burst this time, enough to make his legs weak. They put heavy chains on his wrists and ankles. The chains glowed with some kind of energy. When he pulled on them, they shocked him. "Time to meet your new owner, human," the big alien said. His name was Brack. Tae Yang had heard the guard say it. "Try not to die before the auction. You are worth more alive." They dragged him through corridors. The station was huge. Aliens of every type walked past. Some stared at him. Others ignored him completely. This was normal to them. Buying and selling people was just business. They reached a large room. It looked like an arena. Rows of seats surrounded a central platform. The seats were filling up with aliens. Rich ones by the look of their clothes. They talked and laughed, excited about the show. Brack shoved Tae Yang onto the platform. Bright lights hit him from all sides. He could barely see the crowd through the glare, but he could hear them. Whispers. Questions. Some alien language he did not understand. "Ladies and gentlemen," a voice boomed through speakers. "A rare item today, very rare. Most of you have heard the stories, the legends. Today I present to you a real living human. From the forbidden sector, the death world called Earth." The crowd went wild. Some stood up. Others pushed forward to see better. Tae Yang kept his face blank. He would not give them the satisfaction of seeing his fear. "As you can see, the human is in excellent condition," the voice continued. "Strong. Resilient. He fought off 3 trained guards after being stunned. Twice. Most species would be unconscious, but not humans. They are predators, natural fighters." A smaller alien walked onto the platform. It carried a shock stick. Without warning, it hit Tae Yang in the side. The shock knocked him to his knees. Pain shot through his ribs. "See how quickly he recovers," the voice said. "Remarkable durability." The alien raised the stick again. Tae Yang prepared himself for another shock. But then a voice rang out from the crowd, clear, strong, angry. "Stop!" Everyone turned. A young alien woman stood up. She was different from the others. Her skin seemed to glow with a soft light. She was tall and elegant, but her face showed real emotion, real anger. "Don't harm the human," she said. Her voice carried across the room. "I'll buy him." The room went silent. Then everyone started talking at once. The alien with the shock stick stepped back. Brack smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Lady Dawn," Brack said with a bow that was clearly mocking. "How generous. But we must run the auction properly. Let us start the bidding." The auction went fast. Numbers flew back and forth. Tae Yang did not understand the currency, but he understood the concept. He was being sold like an animal, like property. Dayun kept bidding. Others tried to outbid her. A massive alien in armor, a creature made of metal and wires, a thing that looked like floating smoke. But Dawn would not stop. Every time someone bid, she bid higher. Finally, the others gave up. The price was too high. Dayun had won. "Sold," the voice announced. "To Lady Dawn of the Velrian House. Congratulations on your purchase." Guards dragged Tae Yang off the platform. As they pulled him past Dawn, their eyes met. Hers were violet. Strange but beautiful. She looked at him with something he had not expected to see in this place. Concern. Taeyang did not know if that made things better or worse. He had been bought by someone who seemed to care, but he was still bought, still owned, still a slave. And somewhere out there his people were looking for him. He just had to stay alive long enough for them to find him. The meeting room was tense. On one side, Admiral Seok Jin and his officers. All human, all armed, all watching the aliens with suspicion. On the other side, Da-un and her crew. Trying to look peaceful but clearly nervous. Tae-yang stood between them. Still injured but refusing to show weakness. He was the bridge, the only person both sides trusted. Admiral, Tae-yang said in Korean. This is Lady Da-un of the Velrian House. She bought me at a slave auction to save my life. She has been helping me ever since. She is not our enemy. Admiral Seok Jin was a hard man. Gray hair, scars on his face, eyes that had seen too much. She bought you. Like property. And you are defending her? She saved me from being dissected alive, Tae-yang said. She treated me with respect. Gave me freedom, helped me rescue other humans from traffickers. Without her, those people would still be slaves. Or dead. The Admiral turned to Da-un. Can you understand me? Yes, Da-un said in careful English. I have been studying human languages. I wanted to communicate properly. To show respect, the Admiral repeated. Tell me about this galaxy of yours. This trade consortium, where slavery is legal. Da-un did not flinch. Slavery is not legal. It is ignored. The consortium has laws against it, but many worlds do not enforce those laws. The powerful exploit the weak. It is wrong. I know it is wrong. That is why I have been fighting it. One person fighting an entire system, the Admiral said. Sounds familiar. Humans ended slavery on Earth, Da-un said. It took time. It took war. But you did it. I hope that humanity could help us do the same in the galaxy. That is why I wanted to make contact. Not as conquerors, as allies. The Admiral studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded to one of his officers. Show them. Images appeared on a screen. Surveillance footage. It showed alien ships raiding a human colony. People being taken, families torn apart, children screaming. It was recent. Very recent. This happened 2 weeks ago, the Admiral said. 15 people taken. We have been tracking the raiders. That is how we found you. We thought you were part of the trafficking network. Da-un looked sick. I did not know. I swear I did not know it was still happening. We have data, Tae-yang said, from the facility we raided. Names, locations, financial records. Everything you need to shut down the entire network. Subin stepped forward. She had been quiet until now. I compiled the data. I can show you. There are 43 humans currently being held. 17 facilities across 5 systems. I know where they all are. The Admiral looked at Subin. Then at Tae-yang. Then at Da-un. This information is legitimate? Yes, sir, Tae-yang said. I have reviewed it myself. It is everything we need. Then we move immediately, the Admiral said. We will hit every location simultaneously. Rescue our people. Destroy these facilities. That will start a war, Jiwoo said quietly. The consortium will see it as an invasion. Unprovoked aggression. They took our people, the Admiral said. That is an act of war. There is another way, Da-un said. My family has influence. I can arrange a meeting with the consortium leadership. Present the evidence publicly. Force them to acknowledge what is happening. Make them enforce their own laws. And if they refuse? The Admiral asked. Then humanity has moral authority, Da-un said. You tried diplomacy. They refused. At that point, military action is justified. The other species will understand. Some might even support you. The Admiral considered this. How long would this take? 3 days to arrange the meeting. The summit is already scheduled for next week. I can add this to the agenda. 3 days, the Admiral repeated. While our people suffer. 3 days to prevent a war, Da-un said. To give humanity a chance at peaceful integration. To change the galaxy for the better instead of just punishing it. Tae-yang spoke up. Sir, I recommend we try the diplomatic approach. If it fails, we will have lost nothing. But if it succeeds, we gain everything. Recognition, protection under galactic law, the ability to trade and interact without constant warfare. The Admiral was silent for a long time. Finally, he nodded. 3 days, but my ships stay here. And if anything happens to those prisoners, if even one more human is taken, we move immediately. Understood, Da-un said. I will arrange the meeting. The next days were frantic. Dayun used every contact she had, called in every favor. Her family was furious. The consortium leadership was resistant. But she pushed, and pushed. And finally, they agreed to hear her presentation. The summit was held on a neutral station. Representatives from dozens of species attended. The room was massive, hundreds of delegates, and in the center a podium where speakers could address everyone. Da-Un stood at that podium. Taeyang stood beside her, a human and an alien, together. The symbolism was not lost on anyone. Members of the consortium, Da-Un began. Her voice was steady, strong. I come before you to speak about a crime that has been happening in our space for years, a crime we have all ignored. She presented the evidence, the facilities, the financial records, the names of those involved. Many were powerful. Some were in the room. The murmurs grew louder, angry, defensive. We claim to be civilized, Da-Un continued. We claim to value life. But we have allowed this to happen. We have profited from it. We have looked away while sentient beings were bought and sold like objects. Chairman Velkan, the head of the consortium, stood. These are serious accusations. Do you have proof? I have all the proof you need, Da-Un said. And I have something else. I have humanity. She gestured to Taeyang. He stepped forward. I am Lieutenant Taeyang, he said in Galactic Standard. I represent the Earth Colonial Fleet. We have been monitoring this situation. We know about the trafficking. We know who is responsible. And we want justice. The human speaks, someone said, shocked. They are intelligent. Of course we are intelligent, Taeyang said. We have cities, technology, art, culture. We have everything you have. And we have something else. We have patience. But that patience is running out. Images appeared behind him. The human fleet. 20 warships waiting. Ready. We do not want war, Taeyang said. We want recognition. We want our people freed. We want the trafficking to end. Not just of humans, of all species. Give us that and we will join the consortium as equals. Refuse and we will take it, the room erupted. Some delegates were angry. Others were frightened. A few looked thoughtful. Chairman Velkan called for order. It took several minutes for the noise to die down. This is extortion, one delegate said. This is justice, Da-Un corrected. We have laws against slavery. Enforce them. We have laws protecting sentient rights. Apply them to humans. That is all we are asking. Follow your own rules. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared. Security rushed in. We are under attack. Multiple targets breached the perimeter. The main screen showed ships. Small ones, fast ones. They were firing on the station. Not at the military targets. At the civilian sections. At the meeting hall. The traffickers, Subin said. They know we expose them. They are trying to kill us all. Chaos erupted. Delegates ran for exits. Security tried to maintain order. Then the wall exploded inward. Mercenaries poured in. Armed, dangerous. Led by someone Taeyang recognized, Krek, the collector. He had escaped, and now he was here for revenge. Kill them all, Krek ordered, especially the humans. They ruined everything. Taeyang moved instantly. He pulled Da-Un behind cover. The Admiral's guards formed a defensive line. Human and alien fighting side by side. The mercenaries advanced. Then they met human resistance. The fight was brutal. But humans had something the mercenaries did not expect. Training, discipline, and rage. These aliens had taken their people, tortured them, sold them. Now they would pay. Da-Un fought beside Taeyang, using everything he taught her, using her telepathy to coordinate with her guards. They were a team, a real team, and slowly they pushed the mercenaries back. The human fleet arrived. Their weapons were precise. They targeted only the attacker ships, protected the station, showed restraint and skill. The other species watched, impressed, maybe even grateful. Within an hour, the attack was over. Krek was captured, his mercenaries dead or surrendering, and the consortium delegates had seen something important. They had seen humans and aliens working together, protecting everyone. Following the rules of war even when attacked, the summit reconvened. This time there was less arguing. Chairman Velkan stood at the podium. Today we saw the consequences of our failures, he said. We allowed criminals to operate freely. We ignored suffering, and it nearly destroyed us all. That ends now. He looked at Tae-Yang and Da-Un. Humanity is recognized as a sovereign species with full rights under consortium law. Trafficking of humans is now a capital offense. All current prisoners will be released immediately, and we will work with the Earth colonial fleet to dismantle the trafficking networks completely. The room applauded. Not everyone, but enough. It was a start. Later, on the observation deck of the Luminous Pearl, Tae-Yang and Da-Un stood together, looking at Earth in the distance. Blue and beautiful home. We did it, Da-Un said quietly. We actually did it. You did it, Tae-Yang corrected. You stood up when everyone else looked away. You risked everything. Your family, your status, your life. We did it together, Da-Un said. You taught me to be brave, to fight, to never give up. You taught me to trust, Tae-Yang said. The asteroid field was dense. Rocks the size of cities drifted through space. Perfect place to hide something you did not want found. The Luminous Pearl moved slowly, carefully, avoiding detection. Tae-Yang stood in the armory, checking weapons. Da-Un's security team gathered around him. 10 fighters, good ones. But they had never fought humans. They had no idea what they were walking into. Remember the plan, Tae-Yang said. We go in quiet. No shooting unless necessary. We locate the prisoners. We get them out. If things go wrong, we adapt. Stay flexible. Stay alive. Da-Un entered wearing light armor. She looked nervous but determined. Tae-Yang had tried to convince her to stay on the ship. She refused. These were her people now, too. She would fight for them. Ready? She asked. As I will ever be. He handed her a weapon. Stay close to me. If shooting starts, get behind cover. Do not be a hero. You are one to talk about not being a hero, she said with a small smile. They launched in a small stealth shuttle. It attached to the facility like a parasite. Tae-Yang cut through the hull with a plasma torch. Silent. Efficient. They dropped into a dark corridor. The facility was old, poorly maintained, perfect for illegal operations. Tae-Yang moved like a ghost. The others followed. Subin had given them the guard schedule. Right now, most guards were at shift change. A small window. They had maybe 10 minutes. They reached the holding area. Rows of cells. Most were empty, but 3 held humans. A young man, a middle-aged woman, a teenage girl. All 3 looked like they had been through hell. Tae-Yang approached the first cell. The young man inside scrambled back, terrified. Then he saw Tae-Yang's face. Human. The relief in his eyes was painful to watch. We are getting you out, Tae-Yang whispered in Korean. Stay quiet, stay calm. We are going home. Da-Un's technical expert worked on the cell locks. They opened with soft clicks. The 3 humans stepped out, weak, scared but alive. Where is Boram? The teenage girl asked. She was here. They took her yesterday. Said someone bought her. Tae-Yang felt his stomach drop. Where did they take her? Upper level. The collector's private rooms. Da-Un looked at Tae-Yang. He could see the question in her eyes. They had 3 prisoners. They could leave now, get them to safety, or they could risk everything for one more person. We get her, Tae-Yang said. It was not even a question. They split up. Half the team took the rescued humans back to the shuttle. Tae-Yang, Da-Un, and 4 guards went up. The upper level was different, cleaner, more expensive. This was where the facility's owner lived. They found Boram in a display room. She was in a glass cage like an exhibit. Around her were other cages with other rare creatures, a living collection. And standing in front of her cage was an alien that made Tae-Yang's skin crawl. It called itself Krek. It looked like a mantis crossed with a spider. Multiple eyes, clicking mandibles, too many legs. It was watching Boram with the focused attention of a predator. Fascinating specimen, Krek said in perfect galactic standard. So much fear, so much defiance. Humans are truly unique. I have waited years to add one to my collection. Tae-Yang raised his weapon. Let her go. Krek turned. His multiple eyes focused on Tae-Yang. Another human here in my facility. How delightful. You will make an excellent addition as well. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. Krek had triggered security. Doors slammed shut. Guards poured in from every direction. Get down, Tae-Yang shouted. He opened fire. Da-Un and the guards followed. The room exploded into chaos. Tae-Yang moved through the fight like he was born for it. He was not the strongest, not the fastest, but he was unpredictable. He fought dirty. A kick to the knee, a shot to an exposed joint. Using the environment as a weapon, one guard grabbed him from behind. Tae-yang dropped his weight, slipped the grip and used the guard's own momentum to throw him into his companions. 3 down. Daeun fought beside him. She was not as skilled, but she was learning, and her telepathy let her sense attacks before they came. She dodged a blade, kicked her attacker and moved to cover Tae-yang's blind spot. They were winning. Then more guards arrived, and behind them someone Tae-yang recognized. Bruck. The 4-armed slaver smiled his terrible smile. The human who got away. And Lady Daeun. What a pleasure. You ruined my auction, lady. Stole my property. I have been looking for you. He is not property, Daeun said. None of them are. Everything is property, Brack said. Everything has a price. Including you, noble lady. I wonder what your family will pay to get you back. He raised a massive gun. Tae-yang moved without thinking. He threw himself in front of Daeun. The blast hit him in the chest. Pain exploded through his body. He went down hard. Tae-yang, Daeun screamed. She caught him as he fell. Her face filled his vision, terrified, angry. Brack laughed. Stupid savage. Dying for someone who bought you. You are still just property. Tae-yang coughed, blood in his mouth. But he could still talk. Wrong, I'm not her pet. Not her property. I am her friend. And where I come from, we die for our friends. The words hung in the air. Brack looked confused. The concept did not make sense to him. Dying for someone without genetic ties? Without profit? Madness. But Daeun understood. Her face changed, grief, rage, something else. She stood up, placing herself over Tae-yang's body. Her skin began to glow, brighter, brighter. Her telepathy reached out like a weapon. Every guard in the room screamed. They dropped their weapons, clutched their heads, fell to their knees. Daeun was attacking their minds directly, a thing Velrians never did. It was forbidden. But she did not care about rules anymore. Even Brack stumbled. His 4 arms clutched at his head. Stop, what are you doing? Showing you what happens, Daeun said, her voice cold as space. When you harm someone I care about. The remaining guards opened Boram's cage. They freed the other prisoners. They dropped their weapons and fled. Krek tried to escape. One of Daeun's team caught him. He would face justice. Brack collapsed, unconscious but alive. Daeun released her telepathic grip and dropped beside Tae-yang. Do not die. Please do not die. We are not done yet. You promised to show me snow. I am not dead yet, Tae-yang gasped. Humans are hard to kill. We evolved to survive. Hyejin arrived with the medical team. They worked fast. The blast had missed his heart by centimeters. Broken ribs, internal bleeding. But he would live. Humans always found a way to live. They made it back to the luminous pearl. All the prisoners, all the team, even captured Krek and Brack. The data they found in the facility was everything they needed. Names, locations, financial records. The entire trafficking network laid bare. As the ship left the asteroid field, Tae-yang lay in medical bay. Daeun sat beside him. She held his hand. Her touch was warm. Thank you, she said quietly, for protecting me. Thank you for saving me, he replied. Back at the auction. And every day since. I did not save you, Daeun said. We saved each other. That is what friends do. Boram and the other rescued humans were receiving care. Subin was helping them process what happened. They would need time to heal. But they were free. That was what mattered. Jiwoo entered the medical bay. His face was serious. My lady, we have a problem. A big one. What kind of problem? Daeun asked. Ships, 20 of them. Human ships. They just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They are heading straight for us. Tae-yang felt his heart race. His message had gotten through. The colonial fleet had come, but they had no idea what they were walking into. They would see human prisoners on an alien ship. They would assume the worst. Let me talk to them, Tae-yang said, trying to sit up. Pain shot through his chest. I can explain. You can barely move, Daeun said. We will handle this together. A message came through on the communication system. A human voice, speaking English. Unidentified alien vessel. You are harboring human citizens. Release them immediately or we will open fire. You have 5 minutes to comply. Tae-yang grabbed the communicator. This is Lieutenant Tae-yang. Service number 2847 Alpha 9. Do not fire. Repeat, do not fire. These aliens are friendlies. They rescued us. Silence. Then another voice, older, authoritative. Lieutenant, this is Admiral Seok Jin. Confirm your identity and status. Taeyang provided his security codes, answered verification questions. Finally, the Admiral seemed satisfied. We are standing down weapons, Admiral Seok Jin said. But we want a full explanation. And we want it face-to-face. Daun looked at Taeyang. This was it. First contact between humanity and the wider galaxy. And it was happening because of them. Because she had said 4 simple words at an auction. Because he had chosen to trust her. Because they had decided that some things were worth fighting for. The universe was about to change. And neither of them knew if it would be for better or worse.